G'day and welcome to this week's FriBaT, Friday Beers and Tools with Andy. This week we've got another Tassie beer to try, and in fact I've found myself a new everyday drinking beer. This is my new all-time favourite. It is a Boags product, Boags being from the north of Tasmania near where I live, and this is the Boags St George. The St George is brewed exclusively with Tasmanian pale malts. The straw colour of this fine textured subtle lager gives a clear cue the beer has an exceptional smooth finish, leaving the palate highly refreshed. The beer is crisp, clean and dry, giving it a refreshing finish that is particularly suited to matching spicy food, rich in flavour. Happy Friday. I already know what this one tastes like. Boags Brewery is only probably a 15-minute drive away from me, and I have partaken of a few of these. My son and my daughter's boyfriend and I put a few of these away, and it is something special. I'm not sure how prolific St George is in the mainland bottle shops, but certainly if you can find it, give this one a go. It is a pale malt, but it is a lager. They reckon it's in the American style, but if you compared it to last week's American type beer, this is streets ahead. It is a really, really nice beer. It is 4.8%, so with the 330ml bottle, that gives it a standard drinks 1.3. That is a top beer. It really is. If you get the chance and you're in Tasmania, go and do the Boags brewery tour. I think it's about $30 something, but they do let you sample quite a few of their beers at the end of it. These currently retail for $48 for a carton of 24, which is very good value for money as far as I'm concerned. A lot of places seem to be selling them around about 50, 52, etc. But again, if you're in Launceston, you drop in past the brewery, the pub that they've got at a brewery, and you can buy them for $48 a carton. My new favourite everyday drinking beer, that is Tops. On my Spanner scale, it's an easy 5 out of 5 for me. Do yourself a favour, go out and find Boags St George and buy some and drink it. It's awesome. Okay, let's get on to this week's tool. If you're any kind of home handy person, changing a tap washer in a leaking tap is something that everyone should really learn how to do. It ain't worth calling out a plumber for. Plumbers are one of the most expensive trades that you can call on nowadays. So every self-respecting homeowner, and even if you're a renter, because generally tap washers are renters' responsibility as well, needs to know how to change a tap washer. Now, if you're like me and you've changed a few of these in your time, it's a fairly simple process for an ordinary tap, garden tap type style. You obviously turn off the main water at the meter, and then you unscrew the top and you get access to the washer, and this is what a typical replacement washer looks like, if I can get into it. There are some cheapies on the market. I prefer to go with a better quality one. This is a FriBaT brand. It has a brass backing with probably a type of plastic or Teflon surface which actually does the sealing. Now sometimes changing the tap washer does not prevent or does not stop the leaks, does not stop the drips. And when that happens, you need another tool in your arsenal. Fortunately, this one's a cheap tool and are quite readily available. This is what is called a tap reseating tool. Firstly, it has hardened steel cutting edge on the bottom here, and that is what reseats the brass seat which the washer actually clamps down on. Now, if any debris has got into the system, which sometimes happens, especially if you've had maintenance done, or if the water authority is doing maintenance. Sometimes some debris will come through the water main system, and if that debris gets caught between the washer and the seat, which is made of brass, it will damage the washer and sometimes even damage the brass. Now, older taps, especially garden taps and things like that, how many times you walk past a garden tap and it's dripping? Well, that wastes a lot of water. Water is pretty precious, especially in Australia. It's the driest continent on Earth, for those that didn't know. So preventing water leaks is also a cost-effective thing, because water is getting quite expensive as well. So this is where this little tool comes in. Around about $25, $30. As I said, hardened tool steel on the face, and that close up there is the cutting blades, I guess you'd say. And this tapered part is designed to go in various different size taps. So it screws into the top of the tap once you've taken the tap head off, and then you turn this knurled one once you've installed it in the tap, and this brings the cutting heads down to the face, and then you very, very carefully turn this, which turns the cutting heads and actually takes a thin layer of brass off the face. This brings it all back to nice and clean and easily sealable then with a new seal. I recommend doing it with a new seal. So if your taps are old, if your house is old, my house is built in 1975, so a lot of the taps are very old, and I found that just changing washers wasn't enough to prevent leaks. So having one of these little specialist tools in your kit, it's cheap, it's easy to use, they're readily available at your local hardware store. I'll also put a link up here to one on Amazon, which is the same as this, and there are a number of different more expensive versions as well. I don't think they're really worth that much, spending that much more money on. Like I said, $25, $30 odd, and having this in your kit, being a home handyman, handy person, is very, very important. Right, for value for money, let's talk value for money. At $25, $26, $27, for me it's a 5 out of 5 value. It's a cheap tool, it's handy to have. Keep a set of washers in your kit ready to go with one of these, and a adjustable wrench to take the tap off. You can cope with most of those situations without having to call out a hugely expensive plumber. In Australia, the layperson is allowed to change tap washers and reseat taps. When you start changing whole taps out, it gets a little bit grayer, and it technically, I think, then becomes something that a plumber should do. But again, if it's a garden tap, for me that's still maintenance, and you can change out a garden tap fairly easily as well if it's beyond repair with one of these. So for value for money, 5 out of 5. Simple as that. 5 out of 5 beers. It's worth having in your kit. Functionality, there are some cheaper versions that may need a little bit of lubrication on these threads, but at the end of the day, it's a simple tool that doesn't require any maintenance, probably a sprayer WD-40, and to maintain it. The cutting heads, there are 2 different cutting heads available. Some tools actually come with interchangeable cutting heads, 1/2 and 5/8, 17 and 19 mil for memory. So for functionality, 5 out of 5. Simple tool, a little bit of maintenance, a little bit of oil. But I've had this one for 20 years now, and it's exactly the same as what it was brand new. These don't wear very much because you're really only just cutting a fairly small amount of brass off, plus being hardened steel, cutting into brass, it's not doing anything to the hardened steel. It's taking that layer of brass off very easily. So for me, 5 out of 5 for functionality. Do yourself a favour, get one of them in your kit. Alright, short, sharp to this week. Obviously I am starting to review a few of my older tools now, because as a retired man, I can't afford to go and buy new tools every week. Yeah, I know that's amazing, but I will be doing some follow-up reviews on some of my previous tools as well to let you know how they're going after a bit of use. That has been some of the comments but people have made, how's it going after, initial review's fine, but how's it actually going after you've used it for a while? I will be doing one on the Chinese excavator very soon. I have had a couple of little issues with it, but nothing major. Anyway, that's it for this week. Thanks very much for watching, and please like, share and subscribe as per usual. Cheers.